The live is on. Make sure we're live on both platforms. Before I said that, we are live on both platforms. Hope everybody's had a great start to their week. This last week of June / first week of July happening at the same time. Hope everybody's doing great. We're going to get into it in a minute. We started a little bit late today. I was trying to make some new integrations that for whatever reason weren't working, but that doesn't matter. Nothing's going to stop us from doing what we need to do. Once you decide you're doing it, it's going to happen regardless of what tries to get in the way. Anything tries to slow it down, we're still doing what we got to do. What's good? Immortal J23, Fitness, Lion, DLS. As y'all check in, shout yourself out in the comment section. We're going to get started, and we're going to get started in like 10 seconds. I'm about to introduce myself, then we're getting right into the material. We ain't wasting no time. Again, I was already trying to get some integration between Facebook and Instagram, but it wasn't working for whatever reason. But anyway, Andy was good. Spain is checking in. Los Angeles is in the house. My name is Dre all day. I'm checking in from Miami, Florida, from the beautiful campus of Work on Your Game University. You see the dorms we got back there? Some beautiful dorms. You ain't never seen dorms like this. I am a author of 27 books. I'm working on book 28 this week. I have played 9 years of professional basketball. I've done 4 TED Talks. I'm a coach, consultant, speaker, trainer, a whole lot of other things, podcaster, content producer. I produce over 15,000 pieces of content. I got like 7,000 in video, 7,000 in article, another 2,000 in podcast. I've done another 2,000 live streams. I got a lot of material out there, and I'll tell you about these books I got in front of me later on. What's going on in Kentucky? As y'all checking in, today's topic, what are we talking about today? Today's topic is, I got to remember the topic, are you still waiting to be chosen? We got Rosemond checking in. Shout out to Rosemond. Shout out to Kentucky, as I said. And any questions anybody got, once I get into this material, I'll answer all the questions at the end. But the topic here today is stop waiting to be chosen. If you're still waiting to be chosen, the question is why? Why are you still waiting to be chosen? It's time for you to choose yourself and do what you need to do and get to where you need to get to. Because everybody, at some point in life, you may need to be chosen, or maybe you feel like you want to be chosen, or you feel like maybe that's the only way you can get to where you want to get to. Today's topic, I'm going to help explain to you why waiting to be chosen is not really the way that you need to be going right now. We got Santa Monica is in the house. Was good, Santa Monica. We also got Nigeria. Shout out to Nigeria. Shout out to everybody who is checking in right now. Now, back 20 plus years ago, so let's just say like the start of the century, so 2000, 2001, 2, around that time, and in the 90s, a lot of times if you wanted to get on to something, you had to get chosen. Somebody had to choose you because we had all these gatekeepers. Shout out to Canada. You had these gatekeepers in place that chose who got on. If you wanted to be on TV, you had to get chosen by a TV network to have a show. If you wanted to have a podcast, well, now we call it a podcast, but back then that was the radio. The podcasting is nothing but the radio. It's just on demand. That's all podcasting is, the radio on demand. You hear somebody's sound, but you can listen to it when you want to. You don't have to be tuned in at a certain time. If you wanted to write a book, you had to have a publishing company who co-signed you and basically let you get into the publishing game and let you put your book out. But nowadays, things have changed. You had to get chosen back then. You had to get picked. Nowadays, those gates don't exist as much. So if you want to put video out, you can do a live stream and you can get on YouTube. If you want to, you can play video games for a living, and that didn't used to be a job. You could be on the radio by having your own podcast. You could be a writer by self-publishing your own books or having your own blog, or you can even be on Twitter. Twitter's like a mini blog. So these things that means the gates have come down. So a lot of places where people needed to get chosen, you don't need to be chosen anymore. But since the gates don't exist, there are a lot of people who are still waiting to get picked. Whether you're trying to get picked by a traditional gatekeeper still, like you want somebody to co-sign you or sponsor you, you want a book publisher to put you out even though you could do it yourself. A lot of us are also still trying to get chosen by the community, by the people out there. Like you want to see how many likes you get, how many followers you got, how many streams, how many downloads, how many views. And while those things can obviously feel good, do they actually matter to the outcome of your business is a question that only you can answer. But you got to know what does matter to the outcome of your business to know what makes sense and what doesn't for you as far as the actions that you're taking. So what we're talking about here today is why, if you're still waiting to be chosen, why are you doing that? We're trying to get to the bottom of that and hopefully help you figure out that you don't need to wait to be chosen if you're trying to go somewhere in life. Point number 1, anyone to whom you give the power to choose you, you also give them the power to unchoose you. And I want to let that one sink in for a minute. anyone you give the power to choose you, they also got the power to unchoose you. So if you think your value is how many followers you got on Facebook or Instagram, and you think that's what makes you somebody, well, those same people who gave you the power by following you, what if they stop following you? What if they stop engaging with your posts? Did you just lose all of your power? Or if you give the power to a TV network to hire you to do a TV show, and then they decide they want to cancel your show, did you just go from being a somebody to a nobody just because they canceled your show? You got to be careful who you give power to, because when you give someone the power to lift you up, you also give them the power to pull you back down. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't accept positive energy from your audience or be happy if somebody says that you're great, or if a company decides to work with you, that you can appreciate it and do the deal and do business and get the bag. But at the same time, your self-worth and the way that you see yourself needs to be rooted in, it needs to be based on how you feel about you, not how they feel about you, or him or her or somebody else out there, or it feels about you. It needs to be based on you, because if the book publisher choosing you makes you somebody, what happens when they decide they don't want to work with you anymore? Or what about your boss? So your boss chose you and it makes you feel like you're that guy or that girl. Or what if your boss decides to fire you? What if your boss starts working there and he gets replaced with a different boss? So you got to be careful if you think your likes or your comments or your followers validate you, because if you stop getting likes and comments and followers, now you just lost all that validation. Now what's left? What's left of you if everything that made you somebody was based on what somebody else said, or what somebody else did, or what somebody else thought? So you got to be careful when you allow other people's opinions, because it's all an opinion. Somebody decides to give you a TV show, it's their opinion that you would have a good show. Somebody decides to publish your book, it's their opinion that you will write a good book. If somebody decides to follow you, it's their opinion that you're worth being followed. So if you allow them to empower you by making you somebody because they gave you attention, you also are giving them the power to take it away from you if they decide to stop paying attention. Again, doesn't mean you can't appreciate them, but at the same time, you can't allow them to be the reason that you feel good about yourself or that you feel like you're worth something. All right, everybody got that? Point number 2. I'm saying all that to say I am not against the concept of being chosen, because there are times in life when you need to be chosen. I mean, if you're a salesperson, you can't make somebody buy your product, right? They had to choose to buy the product. If you're on social media and you're putting material out, obviously you want somebody to follow you and like it so that you know it's actually getting across to somebody. If you play a sport, like a team sport, like basketball, football, baseball, hockey, soccer, you need the coach to choose you to be on the team. You want to be on the roster if the coach doesn't choose you. So there are many times in life, if you want a guy or a girl that you want to date or be your partner, or be your husband or your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, they had to choose you. You can't really force them to do it. Maybe in some cultures you can, but in American culture, for the most part, they gotta decide. Right? Western culture, people had to decide that they want to be with you. So you do need, in certain aspects of life, in certain places in life, you do need somebody to choose you. A bunch of jobs that I've had in life, somebody had to choose me. As a professional athlete, somebody had to choose to sign me to a contract. As good as I thought I was, it didn't really matter until somebody decided to choose me. So there are times in life that you want to be chosen. So you are going to do things in life that put you in a better position to get chosen, a better position to be seen, something that can raise your profile. And I talked about this in one of my master classes at Work on Your Game University, number 435. Why you should care about how other people feel about you. There's subjective opinions. Sometimes people try to tell you, well, opinions don't matter. What other people think doesn't matter. Listen, what other people think does matter in some aspects of life. If you're trying to get a job, what the boss thinks matters. Or if you're trying to date that girl, what she thinks about you matters. If you're trying to make the basketball team, what the coach thinks matters. Okay, if you're trying to sell a product to a certain audience of people, what that audience thinks, that absolutely matters, because it determines whether you're going to sell that product or not. So it does matter what someone subjectively believes about you in certain aspects of life, but you need to be clear. Here's your job. You need to be clear about whose opinion matters, because not everybody is certain people whose opinion matters, and what opinion or what ways can you control what that opinion is going to be. You can determine how other people feel about you based on the way that you feel about you, and thusly, conversely, the way that you present yourself. Not conversely, but thusly, the way that you present yourself to other people. You can control another person's opinion with the way that you decide to let yourself be seen, heard, and known by that individual. So these are things that you need to keep in mind. So it's not this black and white, nobody's opinion matters, or everybody's opinion matters. Opinions matter, certain people. You got to know who those people are. Who are you targeting? For example, when I talk to athletes, specifically in the basketball world, a basketball player might say something like, well, Dre, I tried out for the team and I felt like I was killing it at tryouts, but I didn't make the team. And then all the players who tried out who made it, they all told me that I was one of the best players at tryouts. So I don't know why I didn't make it. And I explained to that player what I'll tell you right now. What the other players think does not matter. Who cares what they think? All right, they don't make the decision. There's only one person you need to sell. You're trying out for a sports team. That's the coach. All right, it doesn't matter what the players think. Don't matter what the fans think. Don't matter what your mom thinks. Doesn't matter what anybody, the referees think. The only thing that matters is the opinion of the person who makes the decision. So any of you, whenever you're trying to sell yourself to anyone, first of all, you need to identify who is your customer. Your customer is not everybody. The customer is some specific individuals. You need to focus on them and make sure you are selling them. Forget what everybody else thinks. Now, if you're trying to get a book publishing deal, it doesn't matter what your Instagram followers think unless one of them works at a book publisher and they can get you a deal. Now, what matters is what the editor at that publishing company thinks. They're the one who can get you the deal. All right, so even though you may have a whole audience of 1 million people watching you, none of them can do anything for your business except that one person. That's the person you need to be focused on. And that's the challenge that a lot of people get, especially now that we can have our own platforms and put ourselves out there. Sometimes we get too caught up in what the audience is saying, but ain't nobody in the audience got no power. All right, everybody in the audience is just a spectator. You can't get focused on the people who can't do anything for you. So if you want to be an effective salesperson, you need to know who the customer is. Who, first of all, like, who is the person you're supposed to be selling to? And secondly, once you identify who they are, now you got to start thinking about what does this person need? What does this person want? How can I help this person? What are some things that would make the decision easier for this individual to make to choose me? These are things that you need to be planning out and strategizing and thinking about before you make the sale. So an athlete, for example, I'll say to them, all right, you want to make the basketball team. Doesn't matter what the other players think. They don't have no power. What you need to be thinking about is what the coach thinks. Now, go ask the coach, what are you looking for? Who do I need to be as a player in order to make this team? And whatever answer they give you, even if they give you a short answer, doesn't give you a lot of information, it's better than having no information. It's better than getting information from people who have no power whatsoever. Get the information from the people who actually have it. Study, figure out, strategize, plan ahead of time. This is all your job. All of this is your job to do up front. So when you do need to get picked by somebody, make sure you identify who that is that you need to be picked by and learn as much as you can about that individual. So you are not stepping into it with no knowledge, no nothing. Be careful about what you decide you need, though. Point number 3. The topic here today is stop waiting to be chosen. If you are still waiting to be chosen, I have no idea why, because that time's been passed. Let me give you the definition of this phrase called self-efficacy. Any of you have ever heard of this phrase? I'm going to define it for you, and I want you to burn this phrase into your mind. It's called self-efficacy. What it means is one's estimation of his or her own ability to succeed in certain situations. So some people call that self-confidence. I define confidence a little bit different. Self-efficacy is your ability to make things happen in certain situations. That's what that means. So if you're in a situation right now in life where you're waiting to be chosen, you're hoping to be chosen, you're hoping somebody pays attention to you, and it ain't quite working the way that you want it to work, you need to check your self-efficacy. All right, how much do you believe in yourself and in your ability to actually make something happen, to actually make something work? And if you do believe in it, how much are you using that tool? How much are you using that ability? How much are you actually applying it and getting some real results out of it? That's a question that you have to answer to yourself. And I'm pausing for a minute just to let that one sink in. Your level of self-efficacy, here's what it does for you. Because it's more than just saying, I believe in myself. Like, anybody can say that, right? You can post that on Facebook and get a couple likes off it. Does that really matter? No. When your level of self-efficacy, wherever it is, it determines how you approach tasks, it determines how you approach challenges, and it determines how close you're going to get, if at all, to your goals. Your ability to handle situations and turn them into what you want them to be. So all you got to do, if you want to measure your own level of self-efficacy right now, all you got to do is look at your life, look at the things that you've wanted to achieve, the things you aimed to achieve, the things you told yourself you were going to achieve, and then measure, did you actually do it? That's what you got to think about. Did you actually do it? Did you actually get it done? Did you actually achieve that thing? Did you make it happen? Did you not? What happens when you face a challenge? When you decide you're going to do something and you start working on it and then a wrench gets thrown in the plan. All of a sudden the plans get changed. Things go left. You thought somebody was going to do this for you, but then they decided not to do it. You thought you had a clear path and then someone got thrown in your path, some obstacle in the way. how'd you handle it? Did you quit? Did you start bitching? Did you start complaining? Did you just stop working as hard? Did you just forget about it and act like you never wanted it in the first place? What do you do when things don't work out? What do you do when things go left? What do you do when you get challenged? What do you do when you're just not getting the result that you thought you were going to get? What happens in those situations? And I'm not asking you to say in words. I'm asking you to look at your own life and ask yourself, how am I handling challenges? How am I handling going after the things that I say that I want to do? How much should I be believing in my ability to make things happen based on your track record? Because today is, what's today? June 28th, 29th? June 29th. So we halfway into 2020. Look at your year so far. How have you dealt with things that you said you were going to do so far? We halfway through the year. What have you done when it comes to the things you said you were going to do? The things you said you were going to achieve? The things you said you were going to accomplish? How you doing with them? How's that working out? That's your measure of self-efficacy. And that level of self-efficacy pretty much determines where you're going to end up in life. Because that's how, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? What do I actually think that I'm capable of? What do I really believe that I can do? My theory is the higher your level of self-efficacy, the less your need to be chosen by somebody else. Because even if somebody does choose you, you appreciate it. But if nobody chooses you, you know you had the power to make it happen on your own. You know you got the power to drum up the energy that you need, or drum up the business that you want, or make whatever outcome you need to happen. You know that you can make it happen when you know that you've done it before. When you know that you've achieved this before, you know you've executed before and made it happen, you ain't worried about whether you'll be able to make it happen again. You did it before, you can do it again. That's where your level of self-efficacy, that's what self-efficacy is defined as, in case anybody didn't know. So now it's a new phrase. For those of y'all who never used that phrase before, now start using it. Use it in a sentence. All right, not to me, but in your everyday life. So you can start making things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. That's the fourth principle of working your game. We call it personal initiative. Now, I'm going to recap these points that I just gave you. I'm going to tell you how you can get these two books right here in front of me, how you get both of these for free right now. First of all, this book here is called The Mirror of Motivation, The Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. This is your starting point. If you've never read anything from me, if you've never seen anything by me except my posts on whatever platform you're watching on, Facebook or Instagram, this is where you start. All right, this book, Self-Guide to Self-Discipline, I made this book completely free so that you don't even have to think twice. Clip me on IG. All you gotta do is cover the shipping if you want to get this book. The reason why I made this book free and I want you to get it in your hands is because this book is all about the first step in achievement in life. It is who you are being as a person. It is not the actions that you take. It is not the goals that you have. It is who you are being as a person. Now, of course, you want to have goals and you're going to have to take some action. But if you do not know who you are being, you don't know what type of person you are, how you see yourself when you look in the mirror, you don't know your level of self-efficacy, you've never thought about it, that's why you start with this book right here. All right, that's why you need to get this. If that sounds like something that you're interested in and you want to learn how to raise that level of self-efficacy so you can make things happen when you want them to happen, not when they decide to happen, go to mirrorofmotivation.com. All you got to do is take care of the shipping. Tell us where to ship the book, of course, and we're going to get this out to you. Again, it's Mirror, just the same as the title without the. Mirrorofmotivation.com. Self-guide to self-discipline. I'm shipping it to you free worldwide. All you do is cover the shipping. This right here is called the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. This is specifically for anyone who wants to play professional basketball overseas. I ain't got to sell this one to you because there's no other book in the world like this. So if you want to play overseas, anyone who plays overseas who wants to has this book. There's a lot of players playing overseas right now who have this book on their shelves. Trust me, because they told me. Overseas Basketball Blueprint. Get this at balloverseas.com. Balloverseas.com. Best job in the world, being a professional basketball player, traveling the world, and getting paid to play ball. Somebody got a question about what I just talked about, go ahead and post it, and I'll address them. And I'm going to recap these points. The topic is, if you're still waiting to get chosen, why? Number one, anyone to whom you give the power to choose you, you also give them the power to unchoose you. You give people the power to make you feel like you're somebody. They also got the power to make you feel like you're nobody. So that's why your feeling about yourself needs to come from you and not from other people, not from the public. Number two, I am not against the concept of getting picked. If you want to get a job, you want to be in a relationship, you want to play on a sports team, all of those things, you want somebody to buy something from you, they had to choose you. They had to decide to do whatever it is you want them to do. So that does matter. And in Masterclass number 435 at Work on Your Game University, I told you why you should care about people's subjective opinions about you. However, you got to be careful as to whose opinion you want and know as much as you can about that person that you're trying to sell. Not everybody, but the specific person who you're trying to sell. That's some work that you need to do on the back end. That's your planning ahead strategic work. And number three, the concept of self-efficacy. It is defined as one's estimation of his or her own ability to succeed in certain situations. Our level of self-efficacy determines how we approach tasks, how we handle our goals, and what we do when we are challenged in life. Not what you do when everything's working, not what you do when everything's easy, but what you do when you get challenged, when things stop working, when things are not going the way you want. How do you handle that? We call that your measure of self-efficacy. If you want to know how far you're going to go in life, look how far you have come to this point. How did you handle your last challenge? How have you been handling the goals you said you were going to reach in 2020? How are you handling the last time something was going one direction and then everything stopped working? What'd you do in that situation? Did you give up? Did you quit? Did you start bitching? Did you double down? Did you strategize? What did you do? Your level of self-efficacy determines where you are going to go in life and what you are going to achieve in life. So make sure you are not positioning yourself to need to be picked by anybody else or have anybody else have power over your self-esteem and your belief in you, because the way you believe in you determines how other people are going to see you. That's pretty much how it works. Now, everybody, I've been doing these lives every single day, 5:15 p.m. Eastern. We almost halfway through the year 2020. I ain't sure I'm going to keep doing them. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing them starting July 1st. I got to think about it. But if you think I should keep doing them, I might put a poll out or something like that, or I don't know. I got to think about it. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing these lives. So that's something that I'm considering. I will do another live tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 30th, so I will do tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to keep these going in the second half of the year. We being me and my team, we're going to talk about it and see if this is even worth it for me to keep doing it. I'll think about it. We'll see. But either way, I'm going to be around. I still post. I still do the things that I do. I still post on YouTube, still post on all the other platforms. The only platform I'm not on is TikTok. But that's that. So, workonyourgamebook.com. That's where you can get this book. Hardcover book. I'm going to give you 1,200 digital bonuses when you get this book. Or I might start doing the lives. I might just do a shorter version of the live. I might not do them as long as I've been doing them. We'll see. But just stay tuned. I'll let y'all know. I may still do them, but I might just make them shorter. We'll see. I got to think about it. I'm thinking about it right now. I'll let y'all know by tomorrow, June 30th. Everybody, have a great Monday. Stay focused. Keep working on your game. What else we got to tell you? Just stay focused, keep working on your game. If you don't got this book yet, go to mirrormotivation.com. If you already got this, go to workonyourgamebook.com. If you got both of these, the next thing is go to Work on Your Game University. So we got steps here. It is levels to this shit. Everybody got that? It is levels to this shit. Everybody, stay safe, stay happy. Let me address these questions. Manny said, keep doing them, maybe shorter, you got good stuff. Well, I know I got good stuff, but I'll put this stuff out in a lot of different places, so I don't know if I want to keep doing the lives. Coach Kev said, how you decipher between the people's comments and opinions who matter and the ones who don't? I talked about that. Coach Kev, you might need to rewind and watch the replay. I'm going to put it on my IGTV. All right, everybody, have a great day. Work on your game. Dre all day. We out of here.